face it, nothing says Australia quite like the snag in bread. You go to sporting events, you can get a sausage and bread. You go to Bunnings on the weekend and you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to buy a snag in bread. The local church where I go to vote quite often will put on a barbecue and offer people a snag in bread after they've voted. It's Australia. That's what we do. We love our sausages in bread. Nothing like a good old barbie. And of course, if you're a parent and you're taking your kid to a sporting event, you've got the early morning, you've got to stand around, maybe you've got a few kids and you've got a few different events to go through that day. Why not reward yourself with a sausage and bread? Everyone does. And yet, a parent in Melbourne of a child who plays footy on weekends is trying to change that.
Now, from the Iranian regime to vegan mums in Melbourne, we cover all the big stories here, Patrick, and this one has got folks talking. A vegan mother has requested that her son's footy team stop serving meat sausages at post-game sausage sizzles and replace them with meat-free options. The animal rights activist wrote to South Melbourne District's Auskick saying, I've requested that if sausages must be served, which I believe is not essential at a morning event, we swap out the regular sausages for vegan ones. The club, Patrick, has refused and instead advised her that she could bring her own vegan sausages to be cooked on the barbecue instead, along with the meat ones.
Now, as someone with dietary needs, which mean that I am essentially vegetarian 90% of the time, I do find it frustrating sometimes when I go to events and I find it hard to find food that I can buy there that meets my dietary needs. But when you do find yourself in this kind of position, you learn to make changes. Perhaps if you're going out to an event, you eat dinner beforehand instead of trying to find takeaway food that's going to suit your needs. Or if you're taking your kid to an AFL footy game, maybe pack your own after-game snacks. But don't ask the majority who enjoy their sausage and bread to give it up just because you don't eat it. I would be fully supportive of someone asking for the club to provide vegan or vegetarian options with their barbecues. I could understand someone choosing to take their own food if they felt they didn't want vegan options that have been cooked on a barbecue with meat. But it is so un-Australian to turn around and demand that a footy club stop serving sausages to its members just because of one individual who has made the choice to have a vegan diet. By all means, keep your vegan diet. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. Don't impose or try to impose your vegan diet on the rest of the community. We should be allowed to eat what we want when we want. Which means that the other kids who play footy with your kid should be allowed to have their snag in bread after they've worked up an appetite playing their game. What comes next? The end of the sausage and bread at Bunnings? How un-Australian would that be?